America is leading in space once again, says Vice President Mike Pence on Tuesday at the 6th meeting of the National Space Council. Pence quotes President Donald J. Trump saying it is America's destiny to be the leader amongst nations on our adventure into the great unknown. Speaking from the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum in Chantilly, Virginia, Pence says that America has renewed its vow to human space exploration.
America is leading in space once again. This president recognizes what the American people have known for more than half a century. And that is that our security, our prosperity, and our very way of life depend on American leadership and American leadership in space.
Pence affirms America will go further into space, farther and faster than ever before.
Now, we acknowledge that low Earth orbit is not our final destination, but rather it is a training ground for the infinite frontier of space. And I can assure you the American people are ready for the next chapter in our nation's history in space. So at the President's direction, we've put an end to decades of budget cuts and decline, and we've renewed America's commitment to human space exploration, vowing to go further into space, farther and faster than ever before. That's why in our first year in office, President Trump signed Space Policy Directive 1, making it the national policy of the United States of America to return to the moon and prioritize crewed missions to the lunar surface.
Pence highlights the Trump administration's plan to return American astronauts to the moon within 5 years.
Earlier this year, President Trump made it the policy of this administration to return to the moon by 2024 and ensure that the next man and the first woman on the moon will be American astronauts.
The U.S. Vice President reiterates President Trump's space program.
And working with our industry leaders, before the year is out, the United States will once again send American astronauts into space on American rockets from American soil.
Pence says there will be new objectives.
In this still new century, America is not only going to return to the moon, but we're going to return there with new objectives. Because unlike a half century ago, this time, our objective will be to establish a permanent presence on the lunar surface, and from there we will develop the capabilities to journey to the red planet of Mars. In order for us to take the next big leap toward the Martian surface, you all here know that we have to demonstrate that we can live on the moon for months and even years. We have to learn how to make use of all available resources to sustain human life and all our activities in space. As President Trump said, in his words, it is America's destiny to be the leader amongst nations on our adventure into the great unknown. And that's why the National Space Council was reconstituted, and that's what brought us here today. And while the tasks before us involve hardship and hazard, sacrifice and perseverance, we know what the men and women of Apollo 11 knew 50 years ago, and that is simply this, that Americans can accomplish anything we set our minds to.
July 20 marks the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 first moon landing. Since Apollo astronauts last walked on the moon in 1972, no other country has attempted to send humans back to the moon.